Uh, so what I wanted to talk about right now is um, kind of the idea of meditation or what's meant by meditation and some of the common misconceptions that come up when someone is starting out. Uh, I started meditating probably in my late teens in doing Zen meditation. And we were instructed to uh, do a couple different things, mainly to count our breaths, count our exhales, and to count up to 10. And then once you hit 10, you go back to 1. And I found that I would get to maybe 2 or 3, and then I'd be gone. I'd be lost in thought, etc. And then, the idea was that when you find that you're lost in thought, come back and you start counting again. And that was fine, although I found it very frustrating. I think myself, I'm somebody, I like to do things well, and I think I was very frustrated uh, at not being able to do that task, or not really have any, yeah, have any ability to do it, and I didn't sense any improvement. Um, for me, I think a big breakthrough came. I was reading a book called Meditation in Action by Chogyam Trungpa, and that was the first time I was presented with the idea that you're thinking, like, just perceive your thinking just like you perceive clouds. That thinking happens. It's something that you can observe, and still from time to time you may get lost in thought, where you're in the scene or in whatever you're imagining, uh, and when that happens, just again notice, oh, okay, I'm lost in thought, and now I can step back and observe my thinking. So some days there's it's your thinking may be very turbulent, other days very serene, uh, and I think another thing that I noticed was that with some practice, spending just a few minutes a day sitting there quietly, what I found was it didn't even matter for me very much if I sat there and tried to pay attention to my thinking. Just the act of sitting down in the same place every day for a few moments, uh, I noticed I started calming down. So there might be an impact whether I sat for 5 minutes or 10 or 20 minutes. I would certainly calm down in that period of time, and then there was a cumulative impact of just being in that moment every day, which for me has become very powerful because it's a place I can return to and have some consistency of experience, regardless of sort of the ebb and flow of experience. Um, so I think that's the first thing. I think whether you call it meditation or you could call it mindfulness, right? I I think of all this as a practice in focused attention and practicing different types of attention. So there's tremendous utility in just observing what thinking is going on. Uh, in NLP, we we talk about how people make pictures. They have sound going on inside, whether it's internal dialogue or remembering some dialogue or remembering music. And then you have sensations in your body. And again, just taking a few moments every day just to notice, okay, what's going on? So not being lost in a picture, but noticing, oh, I'm picturing a scene. Either I'm imagining a new scene, or I'm recalling an experience that I've had of some kind. This process starts to, again, I would say, calm you down and give you just a slight bit of separation from the experience itself. So I'm not lost in an experience, but I have a moment of calm or peace there. So I think that is a great way to begin some sort of practice, whether you call it meditation or mindfulness or focused attention. I think the first thing is to find a relatively calm space. And if possible, just sit down for a few minutes every day and notice what's going on internally. Notice what you're thinking. Notice, are you making pictures? Notice, are you hearing things or having dialogue? And noticing any sensations. And you can set a timer and just give yourself 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and when the time's up, you're done. And I encourage you to do that for a certain number of days, and then notice the impact for you. Notice what's happening there. Now, the funny thing is that a common thing that I hear from people when talking about meditation is people will say, well, I'm too restless, or I'm too bored, or agitated. And what I would say to that is, that's what you can notice. It's like you're watching a film, and what you're watching is your agitation, or what you're watching is your boredom. And use that as the sort of content of your meditation in the beginning, and then see what happens. See whether, does it stay the same? Is it the same every day, or does it evolve? So give that a shot, and then I'll talk about it some more.